Welcome, Taurus and people with Taurus dominant positions in their birth chart. This is your reading from the Oracle of the Feather Crown Tree for Virgo season. My initial overall take from this spread is that there's a lot of deeper energies, a lot of passionate, instinctual energies that are emerging. So this, you may find, is an overall theme for you throughout the month. We will start with your center card, which represents your heart space, and leading from that, and then move over to the center left and work our way counterclockwise around the wheel, as these cards represent the 1st through the 12th house. In the Western Zodiac. So your center card really makes me feel like you may be engaging in some rituals that are they could be very practical, very earthy, yet in you emerging in them, you could be experiencing more of a psychic and primal inner world that's being activated. That sort of outer world becoming your inner world. So I love to see that. It seems like if you are doing that, that it's very restorative and helps you let go of any mental energy that may be not serving you. As I move over to your card in the 1st house position, we see you really in your power, really understanding how to balance the aspects of yourself that make you feel both like you have your authority and you're being seen with your authority, yet it's not a threat to your feminine energy. There's not one that dominates the other. And you seem to be really finding power through that feminine energy, understanding what qualities in the moon are masculine, what qualities of the moon are feminine, the yin and the yang of anything in our existence, that one thing isn't purely of one energy or the other energy, and how that interplay is constantly shifting, and your identity therefore never sits still. It's never truly, carved out for eternity. It's always shifting, and you are really relaxed into being okay with that, allowing yourself to transform as a multidimensional being. In your 2nd house, we are definitely getting a sense of you kind of striking the earth with a sense of, place. Like it's kind of carrying through this energy of you have a purpose here, you have a place here in this reality on this earth, and it can be electric. It can be something that really lights up your presence by claiming your authority. And this may be to lead other beings that may be a little bit more confused. You may have a lot of other entities, people, even, I do want to say animals, like you may be working with animals or interacting with animals or having some responsibility for them, where you need to be the one that's guiding and directing, but not in a way that's overly forceful, that's not respectful. I see you may be the center of many people's reality right now, and they may be looking to you for this type of leadership, which you seem very comfortable in. So that could be a source of value for you at this time. I'm looking now at your third house, and again, I'm getting that same feeling, that same vibe of like you are the source of an electrifying current, and you are that source because you are owning your personal authority. And this card is a little bit stronger than the other ones, where you could seem a little bit, you could be perceived to be a bit more of a threat. You could even be identifying as a threat, like you could be perceiving yourself as that. So there may be a need to assess that and see if that serves your highest good. Sometimes you do want to appear like that, and it's usually a defense mechanism. So as this is coming up in your communication sector and kind of your closer relationships in your community, please look at that and see if your presence is threatening in a way that is serving you and the people that you're serving, or if it's counterproductive for you and perhaps even isolating you and too strong. We're moving now to your fourth house. This is this house of, your home life and your family, your memories, your ancestry, and even your internal world. It feels kind of complicated. You may be having several relationships that are not quite in alignment with one another, and there may be pain because of this for all parties involved, and a lack of just seeing clearly, even seeing each other and communicating in a way that is healthy. So perhaps there's just some fogginess going on here, and you may be trying to redefine the ground that you're standing on, and who actually is standing on firm ground, and the importance of that, of being grounded, of knowing your personal truths and communicating those amongst yourselves. This does feel like very fluid energy though, so I feel like you're in a process right now of really working things out, perhaps with, family members, roommates, even siblings. Okay, I'm looking at your fifth house. So this is your presentation of power, the staging of yourself, the claiming of your authority and respect in the public sphere. And this is such a fascinating card. You are, you're in this card, you're acknowledging that you're growing something and that it's an organic process. And as you are witnessing it flourish in reality, you are acknowledging that there is part of your mental space that is helping this emerge as well and really flourish. There's a definite act of creativity going on here, and there could be something that you are producing and sharing, especially if it's like music, something to do with sound that is related to your understanding of an organic process. That there's this correlation between that which the song that you're singing in reality and how it actually aligns with nature, like the forces of nature. And this may be something that that you're semi-developed in. Okay, Taurus, now we are going to move over to your 5th house, your house of routine and health, how you maintain. There seems to be some mastery here. You feel very well composed. You're using you could be using your psychic powers, but just your intellect, your intuition is very heightened as a part of what keeps you functioning. You're relying on this a lot, and even a component of something otherworldly, something magical could be instated in your day-to-day reality that keeps it enchanting and interesting for you. It makes you feel like you're growing your passion and even some source of your higher wisdom, your ability to connect to things that are beyond the mundane. Looking now at your 7th house, which is your house of balance and relationships. You may be feeling a little bit wild, like you want to be more independent at this time. And this independence may be a source of beauty and have you feeling noble. Yet, the way that you are seen may not be fully, basically you may not have a full multi-dimensional experience in your perception. Your depth of field may be a little too shallow by being too onto yourself, too independent. And this may just be, a pause that you're taking. Maybe you need to do some restorative work where you are apart from other people temporarily to kind of reclaim your sense of inner strength and power. When we give too much in personal relationships, we can lose that sense of self. And this is a very beautiful expression of taking ownership of it. I'm looking now to your 8th house. This is a very, very deep card. you're oh wow, it's like you're very in tune with something in you, a deep voice that may have been repressed. It was your source of inner authority, your personal deep inner authority. And I get the sense that it's almost miffed, as if it's been ignored. It knows that it is your ability to navigate through life. It knows that it is your source of instinct, and that it's also, that divine feminine instinct, which was in this previous card I was talking about too. It's like this divine feminine that sort of has been dismissed. So I highly recommend that you go in and reclaim the power here that this voice would like to have and to express. And it's not a power that, is going to be misguided. It's just the authority of natural law. Okay, we are taking a look here now at your 9th house, a house of things that are foreign to you, of things beyond you intellectually. I get a sense that there are issues here that you would like to really nourish, to make more prolific, a lot of exploration in this area, though it still feels true to maybe your more dominant nature of something sensual, something earthly. So you may be looking into herbal care or flowers, gardening, flower essences, the restorative and beautiful nature that flowers just as a presence can have for us. And you seem to need that not only to nourish yourself, but to nourish your reality more. So, as I was speaking about reclaiming that feminine power and saying that it doesn't necessarily have to be threatening, as we were talking about kind of in the beginning of the reading and seeing some of these other cards, there may be this transformation where you really understand that that power is in beauty, that power is in that natural expression to want to nurture things around you. You may have gained an intellectual understanding of that. Your 10th house, your ability to give to your reality at your highest level and to build structure. Whatever is going on here feels very complicated. I feel like you're reaching out to something, yet there's like a communication between two beings that's dominant, and one's reaching to try to communicate to another one, and they're disconnected. There's like a membrane that's blocking the communication. It can't get through. And the one that's reaching out has some distractions on it that are not necessarily keeping it from its kind of mission to communicate, but may be perceived as kind of threatening to the other one. And the other one feels a little bit sharp and is more self-preserving. It's seeking the solace of a watery element, an emotional realm, the comfort of that. So there may be just two different modes here of communication, which was coming out earlier as well, and how that's being perceived. So I would definitely look at that once again, especially if you're experiencing this in your professional sector, because it seems that there are more people involved in this that need to communicate as well, and because these two prominent energies are not able to share easily between one another, it's affecting the entire community's ability to do that and not really come together and work together. And in being isolated, they're not as effective on their own. They really can't achieve anything independently. And your 11th house is definitely repeating this theme to a certain degree of the need to link together, to create community, to become more like-minded in your goals and your purpose, and in the ease and the ability to flourish by doing that, to become, focused on the same thing so that you can build constructively. And because that's in your, it's in the 11th house, so it's really speaking to like the card that came before it, where it's like you're trying to achieve something that's more ideal for the service of humanity, yet you are trying to self-preserve as well. And both are necessary. Yet there's a way you can't self-preserve and completely cut yourself off from other people. You have to find a way to negotiate that. It seems paradoxical, yet it can be achieved. And some of that could just be through psychic protection, knowing your boundaries, yet understanding that those boundaries are always negotiable, and that they need to be permeable, you know. You need to nurture yourself and protect yourself, nurture others and protect one another. And your 12th house. This is the house I consider to be more transcendental, transcendent, spiritual, universal. And here, I feel like there's a resolution coming in. There is something that says, yes, I will look eye to eye with what I need to be communicating with, and realize that we are coming from the same place. We are of the same source. We have the same purpose. And we need to see that in one another. We need to find our common ground and really acknowledge that. And in loving that in another person, you love it. You love yourself more, because it's like you become one and the same. You know, you see yourself in the other person and they see themselves in you. And this creates this beautiful flow where the energy just completely shifts. It merges, yet has the ability to grow. And it's a natural growth, you know. It feels very organic, very, you know, in alignment with the laws of nature, you know. So it's not constrained to human constructs of any type. And it definitely has that balance of saying, yes, the nurturing and the protection are both necessary in relationship. The balance of the male and the female. So that's what I've had for you for this Virgo season. I hope that these have been more than helpful. It's been an absolute joy to make this message for you. And I'm wishing you guys a beautiful season. Please take care.